Welcome to Once Upon a Real Life with Bel. This podcast is proudly supported by our friends at ActiveFlex, the Australian family-owned and manufactured gel designed for long-lasting relief of sore muscles and joints. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a comment so you never miss an episode and can join in the conversation. All right, my dear. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We are rolling.
Have a sip of coffee.
Yeah, I'll have a sip of my tea.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Welcome to Once Upon a Real Life with Bel. Today I'm joined by Damien Whitty, a country boy with an instinct for bloody spectacular riffs and a sense of humour. They call him Whitt, and he's the guitarist of the iconic Aussie band Spiderbait. Today, I'm hoping for the stories behind some of his songs, his life, and his experiences on the Australian music scene. I am so excited to hear from you. Welcome, Damien.
Thanks, Bel. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your life. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in a small town called Finley in New South Wales. Finley is about 20 kilometres over the border of the Victoria-New South Wales border from the Murray, 3.5 hours north of Melbourne. So, and you go, it's on the Newell Highway, so you go through it if you're driving from Melbourne to Brisbane, for example. It's a small town, farming town, population of around just over 2,000. Yeah, I was there. I grew up there till I was 15, and then I went to boarding school down in Melbourne for the last 3 years of high school, and ended up staying in Melbourne. So my memories of Finley are pretty much up until sort of the end of third form or year 9, and then year 10, 11 and 12 I did down in Melbourne. So, yeah.
So the family connection we've got, do you remember the Smiths?
Not really, not specifically.
All of your older siblings would have been all friendly with my family, which was the Smiths. There was 13 of them,
Right.
and then 8 of you. And before you were born, your parents had a television, and my grandparents didn't. So the kids, the Smiths, were always up at the Whittys watching TV.
Right. Well, from my memory, we always had a TV. So I was the last one. I'm the youngest of 8.
Yeah.
And so I remember we had a black and white TV, and I remember getting a colour one. I can remember that.
Well, I tell you, it would have been the black and white one, and the Smiths would have been up there constantly.
Yeah, no, but there were always lots of people around, so I'm not surprised. Mum was very caring, very kind, friendly person, so she was always welcoming and, loved having people around. So that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. She was probably like, okay, Smiths, go home now. So if you went to boarding school after year 9, did you pick up your guitar earlier on? Or was it at boarding school when you first decided to play?
It was at boarding school. I loved music when I was in Finley, and I had tried to teach myself, but I didn't even know how to tune it. I remember, but to answer your question, I learnt when I was in the boarding house because there were other guys who played, and they kind of showed me the basics, and there was this kind of little culture of, half a dozen friends who were also boarders, and that was just something we did. You kick the footy, hit some cricket in the nets, or sit around and try to work out songs that we liked on the guitar. Yeah, that was, in retrospect, now that was I wonder if that would have happened if I hadn't have gone away to school. But it had nothing to do with anything academic with the school. That was just part of living with a bunch of other guys, and
And was your first riff the, like me?
That was one of them. But actually,
so easy.
The first time I went, I want to try and learn how to play that. Was when I know that I was about 10 or 11, because my brother had a copy of Back in Black by AC/DC. The first song on it is a song called Hell's Bells, and it's got this fantastic slow guitar riff on it. And I just thought it was so dramatic and powerful. And I can remember picking up the guitar and trying to work out how to play it, but I didn't even know how to tune it, But it was enough for me to go looking for a guitar, and there was one that I think some cousins had left behind. It had broken strings, and it was really small.
Like acoustic?
It was acoustic, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, very unsuccessfully. But I did play the bassoon in year 7 in the school band, um, which is like a double reed orchestral bass instrument. It's a wind instrument. Anybody who doesn't know, it's like a long tubular, kind of looks like a bazooka with a crook thing that comes off it. And
Is the sound really like tweaky? Is it the
it's
bassoon? Is it
it's quite woody and smooth and kind of
okay?
low. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a
And
bit like a bass flute, sort of,
ah, did you
kind
ever
of.
pull that out in Spiderbait? If you haven't, can you please do that? Can that
I would love
just
to.
call?
I don't even know if I can still play it because it's a double reed.
Yeah.
Like a saxophone is a single reed on it, and this one's a double. And you sort of have to get the reeds vibrating to get a. It's can be quite tricky to get a sound
Ah, yeah.
out of.
Yeah.
But the only song I can remember playing on it was the Pink Panther theme, which we did in the school band. But I remember my music teacher was very happy that with my progress because she gave me the music that she'd written out, and I was able to start playing it
So
kind of
you
fairly
learnt to read
quickly.
music then, and does that correlate? Okay, so I can't read music myself. Does that
It,
correlate
yeah.
to the guitar, or does it? No.
Well, this was a bass instrument.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could only, I learnt, like the very, very basics. Like I had to sit there and look at it and go, oh, that's okay. That's that note. And that's this note. Okay. Now the next one. It's the equivalent of typing with one finger.
Dunno. Is that the
The
one?
Pink Panther theme.
Yeah, the Pink Panther. Is
It's
that the song?
dun dun
Oh yeah.
dun 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 dun. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, and it goes off into this whole other section. But it was just the first bit that I got straight away. The rest of it was quite difficult. I was like, doo-doo, doo-doo, and she was like, oh, that's amazing. So that was cool. But I only did that for a year.
I did the choir, so I didn't play an instrument, but both of my brothers played instruments. One of them plays bass, one of them plays guitar, like yourself, lead guitar, and his book that he would play constantly was Metallica. So I think I could probably sing every Metallica riff there is because I could hear it
Yeah.
blasting out of his room my whole life.
Well, that's the great thing about singing is you get really good at tone, at intervals and just hitting notes properly and, yeah, recognizing melodies.
I clearly remember one time he was playing Metallica's One, and the ding 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 ding. No, yeah, dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
and he was playing that. Are you a Metallica fan?
I am.
Right.
But
So he was
particularly the first 4 records. Yeah.
right, and he was playing that, and I remember knocking on the door and going, "You've got an extra dung in there that doesn't need to be there," and he's like, "No, it's in the book." I'm like, "Listen to the song," and he's like, "Oh yeah." So I had heard it so many times, and I was
Yeah.
able to correct him.
Yeah. Well, and it has to be done.
Yeah.
It has to be corrected,
You got to get
otherwise
it right.
it's like an OCD thing. Yeah.
It completely, completely. Okay, so early days, how did you meet your band members then? Were they at boarding school or were they back in Finley?
No, so the 3 of us, Kram, Janet, and I, all grew up. We're all born in Finley at the Finley Hospital, and we all grew up in Finley and did our schooling there. I was the first one to go to Melbourne, but Janet is a couple of years older than Kram and I, and so she finished her high school in Finley and went down to Melbourne to go to uni. I think it was a year after I went to boarding school, and then Kram went down after he finished year 12 in Finley. So even though Kram and I were close friends, we're actually second cousins through marriage. And we used to play a lot of cricket and footy together. And I went to boarding school and I started learning how to play guitar. And coincidentally, while I was at boarding school, he was started learning how to play drums, completely unrelated. I just remember coming home from school holidays one time and saying, you know, what have you been up to? And I was like, oh, I've been learning to play the drums. And, oh, I've been learning to play
Play
guitar.
the guitar,
So
yeah.
we tracked down a guy in Finley. We found an old bass guitar that someone was willing to lend us. And I remember we had a jam and it was great after knowing each other for all these years and then having this new activity that it just became like a social pastime of
And
sitting
it's an
around
outlet. It's a
and
complete
playing.
outlet. Yeah.
And then Janet learned bass. There was a friendship that was forged in Finley. And then for whatever reason, as most people do, your goal is to leave Finley and to go to the city. And so we all ended up down in Melbourne for different reasons and kept in touch. And Kram and I kept jamming. And Janet was a very good friend of ours. And it was just inevitable that she started to learn how to play the bass.
Because you two said, can you please learn how to play the bass?
Yeah, you should
We
play
need
bass.
you. Yeah. And so what, you went to an op shop and got one, or you got a secondhand one?
Kram had one because he studied music in year 12. So he had a bass that he'd bought in Shepparton, actually.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so are you, by this stage, the only child at home? Like on holidays, all the other kids are gone? Your family?
Yeah. Yeah. So by the time I hit year 9, the next eldest, everybody was gone.
You were an only child. And so you're in your room just practicing on holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty much all I was interested in, really. But I wasn't very good. I mean, I wasn't sort of like a duck to water with it. I was, I could only play what people showed me. And I wasn't that great at hearing stuff on the radio or records and working it out. I kind of had to get people to show me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really improved when Kram and I would jam and we just had the space to just keep playing and just muck around. It was sort of like you would go through all the things that you knew in the first 20 minutes of playing, and then you just have to make stuff up. Because you wanted to keep playing. So you'd start to repeat stuff and that would get boring, and then we would just jam, and which would just be all complete improvisation. And he would we didn't realize it at the time, but we developed these kind of written cues with each other of, just knowing when to move to a different kind of feel.
Like you're just
or something.
reading each other. You're reading it.
Yeah. We both get bored at the same time. So we'd try and move on to something else. And that was his place in the backyard. Yeah.
In the open air backyard?
Outside, yeah.
To the world.
So he had a shed, and we'd play in there sometimes. But if the weather was nice, we'd set up in the backyard. It was great, just under a tree or just on the open lawn. People all over town could hear it.
I bet they could. Have you got any video of that or photos of those days?
No, it's like mid-80s. There's no smartphones. No, I think we've got a couple of photos. I've seen them, but I personally don't have any.
Because I'm just visualizing that. What a cool setup, under a tree.
Yeah.
What a picturesque view of you guys sitting there. And then you're like, hey, Janet, we need a third. And, the music you get out of 3 is insane.
Well, that was the thing. We so the band formed in Melbourne, kind of as a product of the friendship that we had between the 3 of us, but we're all really discovering, a lot of independent and sort of punk stuff that was being played in the pubs all the time, which was very DIY. And we had friends who played in bands, and so we'd just go and see friends' bands. And then it was inevitable that we were kind of like, we could do that, we're kind of here all the time everywhere, and everybody's sharing equipment, and we're just, we started quietly rehearsing, and we just played covers and played at some parties. And
so what, you're like
one thing led to another.
19, 20, 21?
Yeah, so 89 we started playing and rehearsing and hanging out, because we were just hanging out all the time as friends. So and that's just what we would do on Saturdays. My car had broken down at the time. I remember we used to get a tram with all our equipment from where Kram and Janet were living in an apartment down Burke Road, all the way to the rehearsal room in Paran. And the conductor got to know us from week to week. This is the same guy, and he would hold the tram while we, putting drums and guitars and amps and onto the tram.
How good is he?
Then we would have to run and get it. It was I guess we were just so keen. So that's how DIY it was.
I would love that photo as well. You guys getting on a tram with all that gear.
It would be so good. We wish we did have a photo of that, but we don't have any.
So the inspirations for you was punky, because that's what you were going to on the weekends. But then you were an AC/DC fan as well. So you obviously, when you were practicing those early days, it was going to be riffs like that. It's going to be songs like that.
And
what other songs?
And we absolutely loved early Metallica stuff. We just loved the riffs,
Mm.
and they kind of had a more punky kind of edge to them. But it was a lot of them.
Was that Metal Up Your A? What was that?
Kill 'Em All
Kill 'Em
was
All,
the
yeah.
first album, which I
Yeah.
think they wanted to call that Metal Up, Metal
Yeah.
Up Your Ass.
Yeah.
But they changed the title, which is probably a good thing, I think. And then Ride the Lightning was the second one,
Ride
and
the
then
Lightning. Yeah.
Master of Puppets
Master of Puppets.
was the third album.
Do you know I
Um,
crank Master of Puppets for my kids, and they're like, "Stop it!" And I'm like, "You have to get through the whole thing. You got to wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait for the good bit."
yeah, yeah, it's pretty epic. So
It's
we
so
love
good.
but we also really love Pink Floyd, and Kram and Janet really loved the Police. Because in Finley, so this is before the internet and everything. The only sources of music consumption you had were Countdown on weekends. So the new episode would come out Saturday nights from 5 till 6 or 6 till 7. And then Sunday would be the repeat. No, sorry, Saturday would be the repeat of last Sunday, and then Sunday would be the new one. So there was just that, or cassettes from the local BP, which were mostly sort of truck and hits, or there were 2 AM stations. There's 3 SR in Shepparton. So we grew up with listening to a really wide range of
Oh, yeah.
music. And even though we're sort of really getting into what was happening in sort of the punk and indie scene in Melbourne, we're big fans of pop and, really broad spectrum of stuff. So,
I'm the same. I
yeah,
love, anything from Jesus Christ Superstar and, Hamilton to Lionel Richie and Metallica, Tea
yeah,
Party,
yeah.
Spiderbait. But who doesn't love Spiderbait?
Yeah, well, I just feel we're just very grateful and lucky that we're able to still, keep doing what we're
Oh,
doing. I think the more time goes on, the more kind of surprised we are and grateful that we're able to do it. So yeah,
yeah. When I told my daughters that I was going to be speaking with you, one's 24 and one's 19, and they're like, I said, "Have you heard of Spiderbait?" They said, "No." And then I played them a few songs, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I know those songs." So
mm,
the youth of today, like my daughter loves Calypso, but she didn't know it was
awesome.
called Calypso. And I had played it when she was little, but she never knew the band name. Mm.
That's great. That's a common thing, actually. People would come to shows because we've got 2 singers, and also the music is quite varied.
Oh, yeah.
People will often say, "Oh, I didn't realize, you know, that was one of your
Yeah.
songs or whatever." Yeah.
Exactly. And it is varied, like Faith No More. You've got the heavy stuff, the punky stuff, and then you've got the soft, sweet stuff that turns punky.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's all just a byproduct of us being fans of music ultimately, and yeah, if we all like it, then it usually makes its way into a recording and onto a record or onto the set list.
And so who named the band? Like Spiderbait. Was there any other names on the list? Or did someone have a issue in their home with spiders and they needed to bait them?
No, the story with that was we had heard that some bands had taken their names from weird films. And there was one band in particular called Mudhoney, and they had taken
Yeah.
their band name, I think, from a Russ Meyer film, like kind of obscure 60s film maker he was. So, and Janet had this book called Strange, Weird and Wonderful Films. And so we were just scanning through that. And it's really fun looking for band names because, you just, for a second, you just imagine that's the name of your band. It can be quite amusing. And then 5 seconds later, you're sick of it and you just think it's stupid. That seemed to be the pattern. But
I know
there was
what
one
my
called,
band was going to be called.
no,
I can't believe
yes.
I'm even
I mean, I don't
saying
know.
this. So I loved Bananarama.
Yeah.
So my band was Apple Rapple.
Well, it's all influences, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, there was a film called Spider Baby, and so we were actually called Spider Baby for about 10 shows, and then we did our first single, and we found out there was a band from California with the same name, so they must have been looking through the same book
Same book.
we were looking at.
Mm.
So then we changed it to Spiderbait because we liked the name, but we changed it to something that wasn't too different. and was kind of just as meaningless, but kind of a little bit fun
It
and interesting,
worked.
I guess. Yeah. So that's all it is. That it
Yeah.
was originally something, and then we had to change it to something not too different.
Yeah, you had to change it. You can't have two of you.
It
You
doesn't
ended
make
up
any
being
sense though. Yeah.
it doesn't. It's like Silverchair.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
apparently Spiderbaits are that's like a computer internet thing. Like I don't know. They trawl around the net um looking for something.
Like on the Matrix.
Yeah, yeah. Um they're like a searching kind of bug thing. So they are a
Well,
thing, but
but
yeah,
there you go. I'm going to look it
that's
up
not how
later.
we arrived at it.
Where did you play your first gig?
First, so we did a few parties, but the first show we ever did was at the Tote in Collingwood.
Yeah. So I read you played at your 21st.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that was maybe our second or third
Or was it? Yeah. Yep.
show. Yeah. Um, but we hadn't actually had we. So that was in June. Oh yeah, we had. Yeah, but that was with friends as well, so it wasn't strictly
Mm.
a Spiderbait gig. Yeah, Kram and I had a joint 21st because we both turned 21 in the same year. He's a few months older than myself, so we had it in the middle, and we wanted to just invite as many people as we could. But in order to do that, somebody had to pay for it, so we charged everyone. I think we invited 800 and something people, and over 200 turned up, but we had to charge $5 on the door. Come to our party and pay us $5. That we had to take another collection to buy more beer. I remember on the night. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was
But that's
held
smart. That's
at the
smart.
local. Well, it was the only way we could do it. Yeah, because none of us had any money. We had about 10 songs because we'd already done two shows, two pub gigs at the Tote. So
Originals.
yeah, originals. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Any
So
of them that we would know that you had written back in that day?
Yeah. Circle K, which was our very first single. That would have been on the list. I think all the rest have fallen by the wayside though. We used to do a few covers, like we used to do like a Mudhoney cover. We've done lots
Which
of
one?
covers over the years.
Which Mudhoney?
Sweet Young Thing.
Yeah.
It's the first song off their first EP, I think. Yeah. And In and Out of Grace, we used to do that one as well, which is the last song of the same EP called Super Fuzz Big Muff.
Good name.
It's about
Did you ever
guitar
play?
pedals.
Yeah. Did you ever play any Metallica?
No. No. But we used to jam on Whiplash a lot. Actually, I think we might have played Whiplash a few times.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. I love that riff. Yeah.
You ever watch the movie Whiplash?
Ah, yes, I did.
Phenomenal film. It's about the drumming. Yes. You're playing gigs now. You charged you $5. And then how did you get scouted? Did you just send your cassette tape to like all of the radio stations? Or did someone come along to one of your gigs and go, hey guys?
So we were with an independent label for the first 5 years, but there was no contract with that. We would just give them.
Step back those 5 years. How did you do that?
The first 5 years?
Yeah. How did you get your label?
Oh, so it was a label called Orgogo, and there were other independent bands that Orgogo would release their recordings. So we just asked them if they would be interested in releasing ours, and they were. So, but there was no contract or anything ever signed. It was just done. We'd like to put out a single. Here's the recording. We'd put it out, and so they did. And we did the same with an EP, and we did the same with an album, and same with a live album.
So that was all self-published.
It was all done very verbally, word of mouth. Yeah, we gave them the recording, and they got them pressed and burnt into CDs. Yeah.
Did you just hire a studio to record?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Melbourne.
Very cheap, yes. So the first single was done for free. That was at Kram's uni. Where he was studying music. We did that in an afternoon because it was only 2 songs. So it was just live performance. There were no overdubs or anything. That was done straight to 2-track, so you couldn't overdub anything. It was just set the mics up, and he sang. We just performed it live like we had been, and it got recorded, and that was the first single. And the second recording was a 7-track EP, and that was done in about 2 days at a place called Stable Sound in Richmond, which is now Bakehouse Rehearsal Studios. So that was done really quick. And then the next one was an album. We did that at like a proper studio, and that was done over a period of weeks and a couple of months, but not every day, like, a few days here and there.
And
Yeah.
that one wasn't self-published. That was one that,
That was with Go as well.
yeah, as well.
But we were playing all the time, and there was a massive live scene. So there was a big scene of people going to see bands week in, week out, weeknights, especially around inner city. You could go and see a band every night. And I kept a list of the first 100 shows that we did. And often we're playing like 4 times a week. Sometimes, on a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, a Friday night. So you got quite, you're playing a lot. And it wasn't just us. There was a whole movement. So that we were just a part of. And so we got
any
to.
of the other bands that were around you playing gigs at the time, whether they made it or made it big or they didn't, were there other bands that you think, God, they had it?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a band called the Meanies who were fantastic. We used to play with them a lot. Yeah, punky, kind of Ramonesy sort of
Yeah.
pop stuff. Nursery Crimes, they're kind of like fast pop stuff. The Gutter Snipes, they were a really great band. The
That's a good name.
Throwaways.
That is a
Yeah,
good name.
the Gutter Snipes, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a really good metal, like slow, sort of funky heavy metal band called Bait, which was
Yeah.
we used to play with them a fair bit. They were really good. That's just lots of very different kind of bands. They're like performance art bands as well. Bands would come from Sydney and Brisbane.
Both of my brothers had bands. One of them was called Ragabash and one of them was called Get a Fenris. And Get a Fenris, I used to go to every single gig and I would love it. It was like heavy metal. And I loved these gigs, and Butterfly Effect would open for them sometimes. Do you know
Oh,
Butterfly?
yeah.
Yeah. And then they just went gangbusters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just loved live music. So good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kram and I loved playing metal, but Janet loved pop, and we all liked punk, but we also liked Pink Floyd, and we also really liked ABBA, and just like you become. I think once you start writing songs, you start hearing things differently. It's a bit like when you start learning an instrument. I found that I started listening to stuff differently. So your tastes are constantly being influenced and challenged and developing and getting mixed up.
So with all the music I told you that I love, Alice in Chains, Spiderbait, Faith No More, Metallica, Lionel Richie, but I'm the biggest Swiftie you'll meet, probably
Taylor
in my
Swift,
age. Oh my God.
yeah.
I just love her.
I went. Did you go to the movie that just came out last weekend?
Oh no, not yet. Not
The
yet.
promo thing. I went.
Yeah. Did you go?
Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. She's a machine. She's incredible. Yeah.
She is incredible.
Do you know
Yeah.
my favorite song? What's your favorite song of hers?
Off this new album?
Just generally. Yeah.
Because the new album Wood makes me laugh. Hilarious. Like
Yeah.
she was a gutter snipe in that one. She
Oh,
got
yeah.
down. I love that. Probably my favorite song ever is Delicate. And I think it's perfect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a great song. She's a great lyricist. I mean, everything. Yeah. She's awesome.
What's your favorite?
Favorite Taylor Swift song? I really like, I don't think it's off an album. It's a song that she did. It's called Carolina. It's off, it's for a film called, I think it's called Carolina. It's about a true story about, a botanist, or I think she was a botanist who grew up kind of, in the swamps of South Carolina and developed, she wrote a book she discovered all these new species and stuff, of plants and animals while she was growing up, in the swamps. And, but she apparently, but nobody saw her do it, but, she was assaulted by one of the local men and is responsible for his death. That's what the film portrays. Anyway, but
Yeah.
the title track of that is called Carolina, and Taylor Swift, I think, wrote and did it just for that film, and it's awesome. It's so simple. It's just guitar and vocal, and the lyrics are great. Yeah.
So that is a bit of a theme then, because also Florida was very similar. Her song.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Same part of the world too.
I'm going to have a little listen to both of them and see if there's a correlation. But also that what you just said reminds me of the Greatest American Dynasty. That was a good song.
Right.
Did you
See,
go
I'm
to
not
the
that
Eras?
familiar with, no, but I just know that song Carolina because I remember I heard the shots. I thought, I love that song. Who is it? And it was Taylor.
Yeah. So Black Betty, when Black Betty hit the music waves, it became an all-time iconic song, probably one of the most all-time Australian iconic songs. Who was the Ram Jam fan? Who? Which one of you?
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess we all were.
Or who was the, I want to get this right, 1933 Texas Chain Gang fan?
Well, we didn't find out it was a Lead Belly song until we started recording it. So, I mean, you just grow up with that Ram Jam version.
Like
in
on
Australia,
record.
don't you?
You just,
you hear it on the
I
radio.
didn't grow up with it, but you must have had it on record.
Well, yeah, so I remember we would jam at rehearsals just on riffs, just for fun, and as a bit of a joke, and that was just one that we used to muck around on. But that was like early 90s, like 10 years before we recorded it. But it was Kram was the one who said, I want to try, let's try and record that. And I think it was because he really liked all the drum fills in the middle, because the original version was a lot longer and had a lot of drum fills, and I don't know. So we did it, but it went through so many different stages. Like he demoed it, did a version on his 4-track in his bedroom, and then we did a version at a warehouse that I was living in North Melbourne, and then we did a version in LA with Sylvia Massey, who recorded the album that version is a part of, and then we edited it and remixed it after when we got back home. So it changed a lot from Go
and
to
the
Woe.
The lyrics are different of all 3 songs that for just after the Whoa, Black Betty, Black Betty had a child, but that's different in the Ram Jam.
Yeah. I think
and then it's also different in Lead Belly.
I think he couldn't remember what the lyrics were.
Yeah.
Properly. I mean, we didn't know it was going to be a single. There was no intention of it ever being a single
really?
until
would you thrash it out? Would you thrash it out at a gig live and people would go crazy? Before, I'm talking about before the release. You never played it in a club, in a pub?
No, we just used to muck around jamming on it. Like the whole middle section, that whole metal breakdown party rock out section, that wasn't written and recorded until we were in America. That just happened really spur of the moment. And then the third verse where it breaks down, that wasn't there initially. And the slide guitar bit at the start, that happened in the studio, just kind of spur of the moment, right at the end of the sessions. It was we just thought we'd record it because we thought it would be fun, or for our own sake. And then by the end of the whole thing, we're like, this has come up pretty well. What do you think? Should we, let's put it out as a single? It was almost like a little bit like, should we do it, or wouldn't it be fun, or fuck it, So we did. So
this podcast is supported by our friends at ActiveFlex, the Australian pain relieving gel designed for long-lasting relief for painful muscles and joints. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. If your symptoms persist, please seek advice from a healthcare professional. You can shop online at Chemist Warehouse or simply search ActiveFlex Gel. Have you ever heard of the book Big Magic? And it's by Elizabeth Gilbert. She wrote that book, that polarizing book called Eat, Pray, Love.
I've heard of the book. I've
Right.
heard that title. Yeah.
So I was
Mm.
not a fan of that book, and that's a huge part of her second book, Big Magic. And she talks about in the very first opening lines, it was polarizing, Eat, Pray, Love. You either hated it or you loved it. Now, the book is brilliant, and it's about having an idea or doing something, in your case, Black Betty, or not doing it, someone else would have. So if Spiderbait in her book, if Spiderbait didn't release that song, by now somebody else probably would have.
Well, and they had actually. Yeah, well, like there are so many different versions of that song. Like if you go scouring through the internet, no, and even before, like Tom Jones did a version, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds did a really good version. They did a great version. Yeah, there's lots of different versions, but it wasn't, but we did it as fans of the Ram Jam version. We didn't know that it was an old blues song.
Mm.
But
it took you off on a trajectory.
Yeah, well, it went to number 1, which was good. Happy about that. I think it was number 2 for about 3 months. Jets, I want to be.
Are you going to be my girl?
Are you going to be my girl? Yeah, it was number 1 and we're number 2 for ages. But yeah, it's
So
definitely got a bit of
so good.
We always play it last. It's always a great fun way to finish the set.
Do you do the whole encore and then do it and be annoying, or do you just play it?
We just prefer to do it all in one go.
Thank you. I can't stand an encore.
Unless for some reason the show, like, they specifically say that you need to do an encore. Like we did this festival in Poland a couple of months ago, which was amazing because we'd never toured in Europe. And but yeah, no, usually we just like to just do the set. That's the show. Yeah,
that's what I prefer. When I was 15, I went to the Boondall Entertainment Centre. Did you play there ever? No, you did festivals.
I don't know. No,
I don't think. I went to the Boondall Entertainment Centre in Brisbane and saw Boys to Men, and they did an encore of End of the Road, and we missed it because we left to go to their hotel in Boys to Men 2 T-shirts to hang outside their hotel and wait for them to come home.
Right.
Till 2 a.m. 15
so you're
years
waiting
old.
for them and they were still playing?
Well,
they were doing the encore.
Still no. So we went there. It was actually a really dangerous situation. So we were outside the hotel in Brisbane, 2 a.m. now, and my friends are like, let's just go. They're not coming. And then I saw a car beside me, and it had a number plate that said BTM 2. And I was like, that's a sign. Boys to Men, 2:00. Well, let's just wait. It's 2:00. And then this weird guy started walking past us, a really weird fellow with a suit and a briefcase. And he walked past a few times, and then he said, what are you girls doing here? We're sitting in the gutter, like that band name. And, and he's
the
like,
gutter snipes then.
Yeah, we were gutter snipes. You were gutter
sniping.
Like, yeah, for Boys to Men. And then he said, do you want to come inside? And we're like, we're here waiting for Boys to Men. He said, do you want to come in? I'm staying at this hotel. And we're 15 and dumb and went, yeah. So we went inside with this random white guy with a suit, weird looking. And we get into the elevator and we're looking at each other going, what are we doing? We're going up to his room. Like, this is not what we're here for. And then the elevator, it's a fancy hotel, it stops on this level. And then this fellow gets in. And my girlfriend, she said, he's the keyboardist that was playing on stage at Boys to Men. And then he looks at us because we've got Boys to Men T-shirts on from the concert. We're young. And he's like, who's this guy? And we're like, we don't know. And he's like, what are you doing? And we're like, we're looking for Boys to Men. And he said, come with me. Told that guy to F off, and then took us down to this beautiful room in the hotel, which had a grand piano and all of these gorgeous women in ball gowns, like Mariah Carey style, gorgeous women leaning on a piano. And Michael, which is the bass player, you know, that really low, hey, baby, that guy is playing the piano and they're all singing. You're not a Boys to Men fan.
I can't even picture them. I know that they were huge, but I don't know. I couldn't even name it. I couldn't name a song.
So you got Michael, Wanye, Sean, and Nathan. And so Michael was playing, and then this guy says, Michael, can you come and say hello to these girls so they can go home? And he came over, gave us all a hug and said, go home.
Nice. Good.
So good. So good. Very, very unsafe. Girls, don't do that. Don't gutter snipe. Boys and
Yeah.
girls.
Stay at the gig and watch the encore.
Watch the encore. Never saw End of the Road. If you
Yeah.
don't know that song, I can sing it for you, Damien.
Sure. I'd love to hear it.
We belong together.
I've got the piano ready. Hang on.
And you know that I'm right. Why do you play with my heart? Come on. Do you
It's
know
in
it?
A. You're singing A, I can tell.
I'll go to the chorus now. Although
All right.
we've come to the end of
I'm not
the
singing. I can't
road.
sing.
Do you know it though?
That's E to D. No.
We should
No.
put
I
out a
don't. I
cover of
actually
that.
don't listen to much music.
Mm.
Mm.
You and I should put a cover out of that with the bazoo and call it Bel's Bazoo. Okay. So if you were going to go back in time and speak to yourself as a younger Whitt, what's the advice you're going to give yourself for the industry?
I was listening to. There are three things that I advise when anybody asks me this question. What advice would I give to people? If it was to myself, I would say just leave yourself alone, and you're fine. Just enjoy it. Instead of I think fears that aren't real can stop you kind of enjoying stuff or pursuing things. But I was listening to a podcast, and he was saying three things because it's an industry. First one is make good art, like just try and be as good as you can at what you do, or whatever that means to you. Then the other two have to do with working with other people, like in an industry. So that's be reliable, be on time, get things in, be there when you say you're going to be there, when you need to be there. And the other one is be, you know, easy to get along with, because if you're talking about the art, well, then that's just kind of really up to you. But the other two, you're dealing with people, and people are relying on you, and whether it's a recording or performance or dealing with, publishers and labels, there are other people involved. And, but the funny thing is you can get away with being only two of those things out of the three. So if you make good art and you're on time, but you're a bit prickly, that's okay. If your art is mediocre, but you're always on time and you're easy to get along with, that's okay as well. And if your art is good, you're a bit unreliable, but it's always a pleasure to hear from you. That's okay as well.
So 2 from 3. That's
so those three
excellent
things,
advice.
because I think people can think it's this kind of strange, weird world that is inaccessible and stuff. But if you could, I think you can just narrow it down to those three. And if you keep doing that for long enough, I think you'll find a way.
I love that. And that's a common theme. That's a common theme now. Well, the first thing you said about back yourself, have faith in yourself. We all get imposter syndrome. We all get anxiety about, is what I'm doing right, or am I good enough, or am I shit? Just back yourself.
Yeah. It's hard though, when you're going through anything for the first time. There's a lot to think about. I think there's a lot to process, and there's a lot, well, for me anyway, there was a lot that I was unsure about, and that included navigating relationships, self-worth, just, is this even a real career path? I mean, it wasn't, especially back then for any of us really, or it was a very narrow one. But I think,
and you probably wondered, how long is this going to last? Do I have to go and become a plumber after this?
Well, I did an apprenticeship as a carpenter. Actually, I did year 12, and then I worked in a nightclub for a year, and then I did an apprenticeship as a carpenter builder. I finished that, and then focused on the band. But but you do until you can get to the point where hopefully you can make a living from it. You do need to pay the rent. Yeah. I mean, most artists I know all have jobs, and but we got very lucky, I think. When those first 5 years, like at the end of it, there was not a window to our kind of music being, successful on a large level.
Mm.
And that was something that we actually loved about it. We loved that it wasn't mainstream and that it was, heavy and noisy, and some people actually couldn't stand it and actually hated it. And we really liked that. But not to be hated, but we thought, well, if there's a certain group that hate it, then we're doing it right,
Yeah.
And yeah, but the band was a product of the friendship. So I think that's why we're still together. Whereas the circumstances of the times changed,
Yeah.
where we were still together. We kind of had our shit together. We'd been recording. We had a fan base, a really strong fan base that we'd built in those first 5 years, and those few recordings that we'd released independently with the help of All Go Go. And then when there was a shift in, suddenly Australian audiences really valued Australian music and really rated it, and were going to shows and festivals. Festivals improved. Triple J came along. It all kind of broadened out, and I guess we were just there in the right place at the right time to be able to be a part of that. And I guess now we've been able to kind of move through that into whatever phase of our career and life we're in now, whatever that is. Yeah.
Couple of things I just wanted to ask you. What comes first, the music or the lyrics for you? Are you writing a riff and or is Kram putting a drum beat together?
Well, most of the time it's the music. So Kram and Janet have this songwriting partnership where, I mean, everybody writes. Kram probably writes the most, but it's still very collaborative as far as like everybody needs to like it and be kind of vibed off it. So they have this thing where they're always trying to write the perfect pop song, or the perfect song, and that's just the fun. That's how they have fun with it. It's like a bit of a game almost, but a really fun game to come up with catchy hooks. Whereas Kram and I will play metal riffs and heavy stuff and really long. We love drawn out jams, and it's kind of the Pink Floyd influence coming out as well. I don't know. Everybody has different tastes, but not strictly one taste, and that's it. It's like there's a lot of overlap, and I guess the songs that get written and recorded and played are ones that are a product of the chemistry within the band. If any one of us was in a different collaborative entity, the music might be completely different. So.
I read a book on Faith No More, and I know Mike Patton came in after Chuck Mosley. And that second album was already laid. The whole music album was laid. So he had to come in and then write lyrics.
Yeah.
And lay it on the music. So I was so interested in that because I'm thinking that would be so hard. So I wondered how, Calypso, for instance, you've got that beautiful opening, gentle, fun, poppy guitar riff, and then goes into the heavy stuff. And I just wondered how that came together.
That song in particular, I think Kram had the chord progression. Janet came up with the melody for the vocals, and I came up with the picky bit at the beginning, which is the same chord progression, but I just played it in a different way instead of playing the heavy chords. And so, yeah, that was a really collaborative one.
I remember the first time I ever heard that, and I was on the dance floor in this really dirty, dark, grungy club. I think they played Mr. Bungle. They're playing Girls of Porn and then straight into Calypso. And I'm like, what is this song? Loved it.
Yeah, no, we still love playing it live, and it goes, it's a fun song to play.
It goes really well. The unfinished Spanish galleon of Finley Lake. Can you describe the location for me? What did it look like?
Okay, so in Finley, there's a man-made lake, and there was like how you have like beautification projects and groups in country towns like the Lions Club and the Apex Club, and so I think it was like a beautification project to build this. I'm not even sure if it was. I don't know I can't even remember if we gave it the name that it was a Spanish galleon, or if it was maybe supposed to be intended to be a replica of the Endeavour, maybe. I don't know. But it was being the fact that nobody was getting paid to build it, and it was all volunteers and just on Saturdays, probably.
So it's a
It
boat.
took a
They're
very
building a
long time.
boat.
It's a boat, yeah.
They're building a
Yeah, on the
replica
side
of
of
a
the lake.
boat.
Yeah.
And they never finish it and it's gone.
Just took a very long time. They did finish it eventually, but it was begun years before we made that record and decided to call that album that name, The Unfinished Spanish Galleon of Finley Lake. And then it got finished, I think, a couple of years later. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at ActiveFlex, the Australian-made pain relief gel that helps soothe sore muscles and aching joints. For long-lasting relief, look for ActiveFlex at Chemist Warehouse or search ActiveFlex Gel online. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. If your pain persists, chat with your healthcare professional. Some of your songs are really funny. 40, so good. Who do you go for?
I am a Collingwood supporter.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Can you guess what I am?
You'd be Brisbane Lions, wouldn't you? Yes.
Yeah. So you guys beat us 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you go to that game?
No. I went to every other game that year.
Why didn't you go?
I pretty much go every week. But because we were playing in Merimbula. So I couldn't believe
Hang
that I
on.
had
So
gone.
the grand final 2 years ago, you didn't go to, of Collingwood and Lions, because you were playing.
Because we had a gig. We were playing at a festival in Merimbula. Couldn't believe it. Who books the gig on grand final day?
So we lost by less than a goal, and I'm telling you that was probably the best game I reckon I've ever watched. Even though we lost and we won the next 2 years, but that game, probably the best I ever saw.
It was a cracking game, especially for a grand final. Yeah, a lot of people were saying it was the best grand final in years.
Yeah.
And it was typical of Collingwood games for that whole season, and the season before. Like so many times we would be, just winning by a point or two or three.
So my dad was a Collingwood fan, so I do have a soft spot for Collingwood, the team, and some of the players I love. But those fans, oh my God, you need to whip them into line.
Yeah. They get carried away. They can't help themselves. It's there. Yeah. Well, it's all about connection, isn't it?
It is. Whereas the poor Swans the following year.
I'm amazed at at the full spectrum of emotions that you can go through in a game.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Anxiety, depression, anger, disbelief, boredom.
Well, that Swans game that we won last year, they left. Most of the stadium at the MCG was empty just before 3/4 time. The Swans left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor players out there.
Yeah.
That doesn't give them much to come back to.
A lot of people do that. They will leave if they don't like the game. Yeah.
Now, so what does life look like for you now? I have 1,000 more questions for you. I'll be honest, but I know your time is important. Do you want more?
Yeah, we can keep going, yeah.
Yes, because I have so many. I keep taking you off topic. It's my ADHD, Damien. Okay.
Yeah. Me too. It's a conversation for you.
Good. Yeah. So Run was a punk cover of the Goodies theme. Bloody loved the Goodies here.
Yeah.
Were you all massive Goodies fans?
Huge. And also of the times, like we only had the ABC, it was pretty much the main TV station, but we also had GMV6, which was a commercial station in Shepparton. And on good days, actually on rainy days, for some reason, you could get reception to Channel 4 in Albury. But anyway, so yeah, 3 channels, but ABC was the clearest and the best one. There was no SBS. It was before those SBS days. And you'd get home from school and the main shows that would be on would be the Goodies.
Can I guess the next one?
Yeah.
If it's the same as mine, Monkey Magic.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes.
And then Peter Russell Clark.
For like the 5-minute thing where he would give. Yeah, I used to make one of, what was it? A hockey burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also I think Banana Man, but that's super sucked.
Well, then it used to be Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But sometimes when there were years like when Monkey wasn't on, that there was the Kenny Everett video show. It was like a British kind of variety show, but really funny. And Kenny Everett, there's stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll
But
have a
just
look.
really, really silly, like, but great British. We just grew up with this awesome British comedy, like the Goodies and Kenny Everett and Faulty Towers,
Loved
and
Faulty Towers.
so we grew
Mr.
up with that.
Bean. Mm,
Yeah, with that British sensibility.
mm,
There's Monty Python as well.
yeah.
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 So
So I love
yeah,
that
so
one.
we grew up with the Goodies. That's where that came from.
Goody, goody, yum, yum. Okay, so I saw that you toured with Guns N' Roses.
We did one show, yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. But it was only Axl. There wasn't
Damn it. Because my
anybody
question
else.
was, did you have mad chats with Slash? And the answer is no.
No, I got in trouble because when we finished playing, Axl and the band had turned up in their limos and they blocked off the exit to the stage, from the stage to the band room. And because they were turning up and they wanted to be able to access their band rooms without anybody near them. It was probably a condition of the contract or something. But we just finished playing and I was kind of disorientated and all hot and bothered and my ears ringing and I don't know. And so I think a security guard said I couldn't walk that way and I just ignored him and kept walking. I was like, man, I just finished playing. I'm going to the band room. I'm going to get a drink and have a break. And the promoter, but I didn't even notice Axl. I think Kram saw him, but the promoter came into the band room and just like ripped
I get the
through
feeling
me.
there's, of the three, he's got one. Of the three things you need to have, you were talking, I reckon he's got one. I don't think he'd be on time, and I don't think he would be really engaging to people.
No, and they broke up, didn't they?
Yeah, but great, freaking great music.
Yeah. Oh, I thought Appetite for Destruction is an awesome record.
Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Oh.
I saw a documentary about a promoter. He did like loads of big acts, U2 and Madonna and stuff. And he was asked to manage to do Guns N' Roses, but he explained it really well, just as far as their dysfunctionality sort of thing. He said they're like Guns N' Roses are like an all-star football team. They look great on paper, but just can't seem to win games. Like there would always be a drama of, Axl refusing to go on stage or just, being impossible to deal with. Yeah.
Later on, I'm going to send you the funniest satirical clip I reckon I ever saw about Guns N' Roses. And the scene is Slash. It's in November Rain. You know how there's the church in the background and then he's in the desert and he's like playing that solo. Yeah. And there's this hilarious satirical clip about that.
They're an easy band to take off satirically, I would imagine.
Yeah, because that film clip never made sense. That whole film clip. Like, how'd she die? And then someone dived through the wedding cake when it rained.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Okay, so Faith No More, you were on the same bill at the Alternative Nation Festival in 1995. Did you cross paths?
No, but
damn it.
I didn't see. I'd forgotten about that. Were they on the bill? Were they Faith No More?
Uh-huh.
Wow. We didn't play. Did we play on that?
Well, that's what this says. Because my specific question on the interweb was, did they ever play at the same time? And it says the Alternative Nation Festival, Melbourne, 1995 at Olympic Stadium. But you don't remember it. It was too fun a day.
I don't know. Were Lou Reed and Nine Inch Nails on that same bill?
I'll have to have a look.
If they were, we didn't. That must be a bit incorrect. But Kram and I did go to that event in Brisbane and we saw Lou Reed, which was amazing because we loved the Velvet Underground, and he just was on the stage by himself, just playing guitar and singing all the hits of Velvet Underground stuff, like waiting for my man, and we were just like, we can't, and nobody really knew who he was. It was a different kind of crowd, but we're like, this is amazing. It's Lou Reed.
Unreal.
Yeah, Walk on the Wild Side. You did that.
Oh,
by
Oh,
himself.
damn.
Just by
That would
himself,
have
yeah.
been so good.
Yeah, it was really
Can
cool.
you go incognito if you go to something like that then and now? Are you incognito or are people like, that's weird?
No, I just go by myself.
No, I'm
Whatever.
saying, do people recognize you
Where? At festivals and stuff?
anywhere?
Maybe they
Then
used
and
to in the
now.
90s and early 2000s, but not
Yeah.
now, no.
So you could go to the movies or go have a beer and people aren't saying, can I get a selfie?
No, not for me. And I'm really grateful for that. Actually, I'm really happy about being anonymous because to a certain degree, because there's a freedom in it. You know, I
Yeah.
can just feel like I can connect with the rest of society, I guess, without fearing that somebody's going to call out my name in aisle 4 at Woolies or whatever.
I'm gonna blur your face so that you can be like the dentist. You can only see the back of his head. You remember that ad? You can't see the
Oh,
dentist.
yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm happy with that.
Stay incognito. The reason I asked about Faith No More is it always entertained me the thought that Anthony Kiedis and Mike Patton didn't get along. And
Yeah.
you never played with either of them, so you can't give me that information.
We did play, we played on Big Day Out with Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we did play just before Phantomas, which was
Patton was in that, yeah.
which is a Mike Patton band, yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was in Adelaide on a Big Day Out on one of the side stages. And it was like 35, 36 degrees. And they played at like 3 in the afternoon and they put in 100% for sure.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. Yeah. Whereas we got up and we were like, God, it's hot. Too hot to move. But there was no shade or anything else. Intense.
And did you ever play with Wolfmother?
Yeah. Yeah, we've done crossed paths with them. We played with them at Splendor in the Grass, I think, one year. Aerosmith at the My Music Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Because there was a funny video of, again, Mike Patton, and he's doing an interview, and I'll send this to you later too, so it's hilarious. He's at a festival doing an interview, and Wolfmother's playing in the background, and he stops the interview and he goes, what the F is this?
Yeah.
Have you seen
I've
it?
seen that. Yeah.
Hilarious. But Wolfmother was good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got...
They're a great band.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Great Aussie band. So I've got a muso friend, and I said to him, have you got he's a guitarist, what is the question that you'd like me to ask Whitt? And he just said, look, just ask him, did he smash a guitar? So this is like my best friend's muso boyfriend. So yeah, he's a gorgeous country player, Tom Mack. But he said, just ask him how many guitars did he smash on stage?
Not on stage. I have smashed one, an acoustic once. It was at home when nobody saw it.
Fury?
Yeah.
Were you furious?
Yeah, fury, yeah. Yeah, I was really furious.
At your mum? At your dad?
I won't go into the story, but it was very satisfying.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it anyway. I was a shit guitar. I never liked it.
Yeah.
It was hard to play. It didn't sound that great anyway. But I'm not a smasher. I'm not in the habit of like kicking stuff But I was on this occasion.
Well, I could have smashed my tennis racket on the court about a month ago. My opponent was very irritating, and it was all I could not to just go,
Yeah. Well, we're all human, and anger's just in your emotion.
Yeah.
You gotta just open the front door, let it blow through out the back, and then you can get on with your
I love that.
human experience.
Let it pass. So this is the very last question I ask all of my guests.
Sure.
All right. Damien Whitty, Whitt.
I'm nervous now because this is the last, like you're saving this one till last.
Oh, yeah. Remember how I said nothing juicy? Here it is.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a ghost or a UFO?
No, but I did have an experience once where a friend of mine, it was a very long time ago, a friend of mine had been killed in a car accident, and I woke up maybe a week later and I couldn't actually see anything, but about 2 weeks before he was killed, he was in my room and there was a chair and we were having a conversation and he was sitting in this chair that was sort of at the end of my bed against the wall. And then he died. And then about a week after that, I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought I could just kind of see there's like a dark image or space or something, but I felt like that was him. But I couldn't actually make anything out. I just felt like there was, or maybe it was just a memory. Maybe I woke up and I just said, yeah, sensed something. That was kind of
So
nice.
I have never seen a ghost or a UFO, but out of my guests, probably now about 40% are UFO, but like 80% are ghosts, which is insane. Right. I've never seen.
I'm open to them existing, both of them. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, we only have 5 senses to interpret our reality. Why,
Yeah.
I mean, and, we are such a small planet and,
It's pretty wild to think that we could be the only ones, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bottom line is we just don't know. How can you say that they do or they don't?
So it's a false claim that your car is a UFO.
Well, Janet wrote that because she feels safe within the car. Yeah. Yeah, in the car she's protected and yeah. Yeah, that's an absolute lie. She's such a liar.
Damn it. And what about the purple people? Who are they?
Oh, well, Janet was writing the lyrics and she always blames me for that lyric. I was like, what about purple people?
Like the purple people eaters?
Well, it was something, the image I have in my mind is that I was watching a documentary and, anyway, these people just look purple and it came to mind. Yeah. That's that story.
That's Calypso, guys. Yeah. I was just saying, I reckon I've got through all of my questions and I thank you because
Thanks, Belinda. No, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed chatting.
You are incredible and I hope that I get to see you on stage again. Are you coming to Brisbane?
We are.
When?
December.
I'm
looking
coming.
for my phone.
I'm coming.
To see the dates and I'm on it.
No, you text me later and then I'll add it into the end of this episode unless you can find it now.
I can tell you now, actually.
Yes.
It's Brisbane. It's the 19th
of December.
Of December, which is a Friday.
Yeah.
At Crowbar. I think it's a new venue opening.
I'm so
Crowbar.
Coming.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
just let
writing
me know
it in.
and I'll chuck some names on the door.
Crowbar.
You and your mates. Yeah,
I'm so there.
That'd be great. Only if you stay for the encore, though.
Oh, far out. Can you just... Okay, if I do, you have to play My Car's a UFO.
Yeah, well, we could. We don't usually play it, but we could. We could take it as a request. Yeah, we'd definitely knock out footy. That's easy.
Definitely.
Awesome.
You're a legend, mate. Thank you for everything you have done for the music scene and for taking time out for me. Thanks, Belinda. It's been a joy and happy to do it anytime. And hopefully see you in December. Yeah. I will definitely be there. It's in the diary. If it's in the diary, it happens. I'll be waiting for your message. Oh, thank you. All right. Best of luck. See you later. Thanks for listening to Once Upon a Real Life with Bel. This episode was brought to you by ActiveFlex. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you loved this episode, go back and check out our previous conversations. There are so many stories you won't want to miss. Thanks again for listening.